For diabetic supplies. You may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Let's be honest, wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Oh, you had some good sleep?
Not enough. No, that's really, I'm on lack thereof.
So you're punch drunk.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I haven't had any alcohol, but
No.
I mean, like last night. Usually I do have at least like a nightcap, but that didn't happen.
No, punch drunk is overtired. You're so overtired that
I think
it
I'm
affects
just
you
right
like
at that right level because when I get back to the shop, I'm going to be able to kick some major truck butt.
awesome. Welcome.
Welcome.
And good morning to think on this
Thursday.
beautiful Thankful Thursday here on JOCO Community Radio. On JOCO Vibes, I'm Tiffany Carlen with Sarah Reeves and Jason Bagley's he's not at the back door today.
He's not office adjacent.
No, I'm not office adjacent. I should be office adjacent because I need to be working, but
we
instead,
are working.
I'm with you guys.
We are working on.
We're always working. I'm just saying, like, there's things that I have, like, paperwork wise to do, and at this moment, I'm currently not doing that because I'm with y'all.
Well, we started having a great conversation. I was like, no, this needs to be for Thankful Thursday. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
All right.
It's my fault.
If you haven't heard, it's going to be a day of possible yucky weather. So hopefully we don't get any hail later. And
Last night.
That's on the
Yeah, we
opposite.
did last night.
We did?
Yeah.
Yep.
Out at our houses?
I was driving around. I was doing testing my truck out, and there was like teeny tiny.
I was leaving
could
church,
hear it, and
and
it was hitting
like
the car. Yeah, little teeny tiny.
They weren't
ticks.
very big.
I guess
but
I didn't hear any hail, but I was already. I got home at like 7. I don't know, 15. Ate some pizza, and because I'm trying to look good naked.
In the hot
And
tub.
Adam Smith said I can look good naked even if I eat pizza.
In the hot tub.
So,
I'm testing the theory.
so I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'm just gonna eat some pizza and see what happens. So, and then I literally like I checked on everybody, fed the dog, did that thing, and I was like, I got like a hardcore chiropractic adjustment yesterday, and man, I was just it drained me. Like I was
Yeah.
so bad, and so I went into my bedroom and I hit the buttons on the bed and went and I made the bed into the old person bed. That's not good. Damn it.
I don't think that means what you think that means.
All right, hold on.
I'm gonna go to work.
Okay. Now my bed does
Oh my God.
vibrate. I'm not gonna lie. So I turned that on too. But no, I made the head.
It's
What do you
getting hot in
call it?
here.
You know, it's a mechanical. I was already hot when I came in
Oh,
here.
water.
Bye. No, so you know,
You have a hospital bed.
Kinda, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's called something else, whatever. So I put the head up, I brought the feet up, got in with my lap desk thing, my
I call it
laptop, a
gym.
bag. What?
What?
It's called a what?
A gym.
A gym?
Where
I
Dawn-
call it Jim.
You call it
Michael.
Jim. Well, it would be Todd, but he wasn't in there. He was actually riding his bicycle for a very long time last night. He's really hitting it hard, and the yep, he is.
So it's
And the weights, nothing there. I can't believe he didn't go anywhere with that because everything that's coming out of my mouth right now is leading down a
fully charged.
yeah. And I'm not doing it on purpose. So anyway, I did that and I worked and tried to watch something, and I just I don't know. Tried to log into my Apple TV and I had to re-log in because we swapped TVs a while back and I hadn't logged in, and then I had to. It didn't like my password, and I had to do all this like jump through
God,
hoops
that's
so I
so
could
terrible.
freaking watch something. So I was like, screw it, I'm just
White
gonna.
girl problems.
Well, I mean, I was on a roll until I left here at 7. So I mean,
like there's an Apple TV. It was really hard to get back on.
speaking
And
of those
speaking
things,
of privilege, isn't that what we were talking about a
Yes.
minute ago?
HBO Max and I guess Disney Plus are starting to crack down on sharing their passwords.
Oh.
So watch it, people. The
Can we all
the
just
TV
talk about?
police are coming out.
Can we talk about this? I mean,
Yeah.
So when we were kids, we had
Free
3-4 channels max, and that's all we had, unless you were one of the rich kids
Sure.
that had the cable or the satellite, the big
Yeah.
satellite. When I was a kid, they had the big satellite.
Oh, I went to high school. I went to school with people
Yeah.
who had those, and that
So-
wasn't us. We had the first box where the Cox cable box where you went
Yeah,
boop.
yeah.
You had a Cox box?
I had a Cox box.
So
Still got one.
then it became cable, then it became small satellite, and then it became internet. And somehow the breakdown has gone from let's bundle everything together in a thing called cable and charge, it started off fairly simple, 30, 40, and then it became 60, 80, and then it became 120.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, well, this is too expensive. This
Yeah.
cable is too expensive. So then Netflix came in and said, well, we'll charge you $9.99 a month for, our,
Yeah.
and then, we have
Then
Netflix
Prime.
and then
Amazon
Prime, and then we have HBO Go, and then we have
Hulu.
Hulu, and then we have Peacock. Next thing you know, guess what you're paying?
$250 a month.
$250 a month for
Minimum.
15 different
Well,
channels.
so Amazon Prime, I've been a Prime member since Amazon, first started. You could shop that, right? So you automatically got it with, and I have a Fire Stick. You don't pay monthly for the Fire Stick. And other than that, I probably wouldn't have it, except that I use the Fire Stick and I shop Amazon Prime. Hulu, we swap.
So my question is, what are you actually paying for with Amazon Prime?
So I pay a year. You pay yearly with Amazon Prime.
I understand what you're saying.
I think it's $129.
I'm asking the question, what is Amazon Prime really about?
Well, I don't pay for shipping on a bunch of stuff. That's how it started out.
So if you don't pay for shipping, how is Amazon making money on your little?
Well, they make a percentage from the people who sell.
That's correct.
That I do know how it works. So
it's all a big
Goes on the
con.
backside.
You're a tool
sure I am.
of Amazon Prime.
I'm a shopper. I
It's
am a
fun.
shopper. You are right. And I'm not ashamed of it. I shop Amazon Prime. I'm proud of it. Sometimes too much because I just noticed that I bought Native body wash for my boys. And well, I didn't get into it was in CVS yesterday and I saw the shampoo was cheaper but I didn't buy the shampoo. So I don't know if it was cheaper. But I'm trying to compare the prices to say, okay,
Is it actually
yeah,
saving
is
you
it
any money?
yeah, it's convenience sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, if I don't go inside the store, it saves me a whole lot of freaking money.
Yeah, because you're
If I
not
go in
going
the
from
store, like,
yeah.
that's how I knew I had fraud once because I had $8 spent at Walmart, and I was like, "There's no way I've ever only spent $8 inside of Walmart." That wasn't me.
I can because I don't
No.
like to go in that store
But if I'm
unless I
if I'm
absolutely
in
have
there,
to.
I'm spending some money. Like it's just because I have, like I'm there because I have to be.
I have to go. I have to go to Walmart about once a year just to remind me not to go to Walmart.
You know,
Yeah.
it used to be so bad, but actually, because so many people feel that way, it's really not that bad anymore. I'll go there before I go to HEB.
There are things.
I think that says a lot about your personality.
It's just there's too many people at HEB now.
My
There's too
husband
many
said the same
people.
thing, and I'll tell you where to go because he dragged me to Kroger last
Oh
week.
yeah, I like Kroger.
And he said, "Do you see how less people there are in here?"
Yes, we
And
It's also
shop
a
at
little more
we
pricey,
shop at Kroger.
but
it was beautifully clean.
Mhm.
It was,
Both
there's
Krogers.
some things that it didn't have that I do like over at HEB. But anyway,
Yes.
all right. So let's go back to this whole Hulu Prime thing,
Thankful.
whatever.
Oh,
So Hulu. So I dropped Dish, and then when we had cable out at our house, and I was like, I am not spent. It got up to like $300 a month at some point with
It's
Dish.
ridiculous.
I was like, this
So
is
ridiculous.
I grew up on
Done.
free TV,
Done.
and I been happier. I love free TV. I want my Fox 4 channel news. Like I want to be able to watch the hockey games, but I can do that at the Spice
Well,
Rack,
we do this. We do this with
I'm standing here beside this puddle of water, and as you can see, it is water.
Thank
Right.
you, weatherman.
Well,
Giving
okay.
you Fox 4 News.
So that's why we went to Hulu, so we could have the local television channels.
Right.
And then of course you can add on or you can not add on if you want to. And we did a package that was like no commercials, which included Disney Plus and some other stuff that I don't care for. We didn't need it. I don't have little kids, so I look at Disney Plus like I don't need this shit. So
you just insulted about 20 million men between the ages of 20 and 40.
What do they watch?
Disney Plus.
What are they watching on it?
All the Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
All the Marvel stuff.
Oh, well, I watch Marvel on other things though. So I love Marvel.
You don't love it. You just said you don't like Disney
When I
Plus.
when I hear Disney Plus, doesn't that make you think of kids shows? That's
Yeah.
what it makes me think of.
No.
So I
But
don't
that's
go.
where
I
I
don't go
think of
on
the
to it.
Mandalorian. I think of
Okay, calm down. I see that you're one of the offended. I apologize if I offended you. You can watch Disney Plus.
no. I don't.
be an
I don't
adult.
watch it, but I don't watch it because I don't like Disney.
Okay. So anyway, so
I'm just trying to make a point
I got
here,
you.
Tiffany.
I got your point. I sorry if I offended
Golly,
any
my blood
40-year-old
pressure just went
man
up.
who games and
Gosh.
watches.
And plays video games and
Right.
Oh,
watches
boy.
anime and sits at home
Anime.
in
Oh boy.
their
Oh, man.
carriage house. It's not a garage; it's a carriage house.
But here's the thing that I did have to do because you have to watch this really carefully because if your kids aren't paying attention and they're trying to go into an app such as Disney Plus and HBO Max, my kids went and set up accounts and I'm like, what are you doing? I already pay for this in Hulu. It's a package deal. And so when I had gone into my Prime account, there I was paying for Disney Plus and HBO Max over there. And I'm like, cancel. And I went through all these things I canceled and accidentally canceled Amazon Music for that phone. So I got to fix that. But I was like, this is where you have to really watch your kids or put the locks on it so that they can't download apps and install apps. And well, it's free for 30 days,
Mhm.
because and then I had to send out a group family text going, please do not install anything
Mhm.
on our televisions without asking because
Well,
I
some of
paying
them are
duplicate
linked,
accounts.
like it's linked, But
Well, it should be, but if the kids aren't paying attention, which it's not their money, so why would they pay attention? I mean, come on, let's be real.
So speaking of privilege, Jason and I were kind of talking about privilege and being thankful, and things like that. Oh, that's where you started, was on privilege and free TV versus cable.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking this was actually in my mind last night. I was leaving church. We had a really good worship session up there. It was like every first Wednesday at Calvary there in Fort Worth. They have a kind of just an intimate night of worship. And we were leaving, and I thought, life's hard. I mean, like we were talking about this, is just life is very, very difficult. And when it stops being difficult, you have to worry about what's going on.
Yeah, what's coming next?
You're
What's-
either on your way to death, or there's going to be another time where it's going to happen again. And so I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, Lord, I used to think that the kid who had the cable channels and the satellite and always had a birthday party. I'd never had a birthday party in my life growing up. Like, we got a cake made for us and sometimes a dinner. And it really just wasn't a very big deal.
Right.
And, it's not my parents didn't love me. It's just we didn't have the money. I mean, we lived off of, when we went hunting because we had to, not because it was an enjoyable experience. My dad went hunting because we needed meat. And so we would live off of venison half the year, off of what he would do. And then the other half of the year, we were butchering the cattle. I never understood why we always named our cows Hamburger until I was about 8,
Why do they all have the same name?
It's
so
always
strange.
Hamburger.
Hamburger.
We always have a new one once a year. It's very odd. But we had chickens, and we literally lived off our land. We had all those things, and we had to work it. Like, you had to get out there and feed the cows and feed the pig and milk the cow and take care of the horses, which was the only kind of like
Recreational thing.
it was like having a horse, but watering the garden and pulling carrots and cutting okra off, every day, because if you don't, it gets too big and you can't eat the stuff. And then it
Man, I
becomes
grew up in the
gross.
city. I'm sorry.
But it's fine. I mean, I'm just saying, like, all those things. And then my dad started working me when I was 13. I worked on the back of a garbage truck from the time I was 13 all the way until I,
Sold the
started
company.
and sold a company, so I mean, but it was always hard. And I thought, it's not fair that these other kids get this privileged upbringing. But the truth is that when we have a generation of kids like we do today that have never experienced real hardship, that have never had to get out there when it's 5 degrees and break out the ice in the water trough so your cows don't die out in the cold. When you haven't had experiences like that, when life hits you in the balls, which it inevitably will do, you have no idea. So even the smallest little interruptions in their life are
earth-shattering,
and they don't know how to recover from it. So a privileged life, that's what I had. And I didn't realize that until last night. I had a very privileged life because I learned about life very young.
Yep.
There's not a course in a school that can teach you to deal with hard things in life.
No.
So that's for everybody out there that's had a rough upbringing. Maybe you're, absent situation with your parents, and you had to grow up way earlier than you should have. You know what? Take it and say, you know what? It's made me a stronger person.
It teaches you to help. It helps teach you to not give up and to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And to just keep going. And that's kind of been a major lesson for me lately, is just like, I just know it's something else. I'm just going to have to conquer something else tomorrow. It's just one thing at a time. And my aunt's been in town for like a week, and my mom's about to have neck surgery. So my mom felt like all this stuff needed to happen in the house before she could have surgery, blah, blah, blah. Well, so my aunt's been there to help her get ready. Well, so they took on the garage. My mom is a shit shifter, and we just shift shit from place to place.
The sad thing is, I think we all know exactly what you're talking about.
That's why there's 7 buildings on the property. I mean, I'll be honest. There's the office and the shop, and it's not all just her.
Can I come
shifting.
look through the shit?
Oh, anytime. Yes, please.
Come
Hey,
on.
she's in East Texas today, so please, I have the house to myself. And take as much as you want. But so her and Doris Crazy Aunt Doris were shifting shit all week, and they actually threw away a bunch. I was
Okay.
quite proud. But the office or the garage is it's really cleaned out, and anything that there's very minimal things on the floor except for it's like the guest room. And Tuesday night, my mom goes to her widow's Bible study, and right before she leaves, like, they notice that the freezer is not quite working right. And mom goes to Bible study. She comes back, and Doris has already been shopping online. Like, okay, I think I'm gonna say this is the one I'm gonna get. I'm gonna order. I mean, because the freezer is dead, and like I would have never have looked in that freezer ever, but because my aunt's there, she's like cooking gumbo and making, pulling shit out of the freezer and cooking a whole bunch of stuff, and like, yeah, the freezer's dead, and now the garage is cleaned out. Like, it was like they didn't know that that was gonna happen, but thankfully, the garage is cleaned out because my mom's having her cervical spine,
Like
6 and
fused.
7, they're putting major pressure on her spinal column. So, like, one wrong move might be really bad. Um, so there's no way she could have prepped for a freezer going out. And so Doris has been there, they did it, and now, whenever the guy comes today, we were ready.
Right.
And it's like, you are doing all these things. You don't know that you're necessarily preparing for what you're preparing for. And that was a huge thing for us as a family was, we got prepared and we didn't know what was happening. And now we were ready.
If we look at like so much of our lives, like how things trickle, it's a repetitive pattern. I
Right.
mean, if you really look back, I mean, I didn't grow up on a farm and I wasn't, taking care of cattle and milking our cows and stuff like that. But by God, we drank powdered milk at one point in my life.
Right.
And
Well,
my
I don't
parent
think
and
that. Yeah, I don't think
No,
that's necessarily. a thing,
no,
what you're
no.
doing.
I'm just saying because I grew up on the East Coast, and which, by the way, there are tons of farms on the East Coast. That's
Sure.
why New Jersey's called the Garden State. But I didn't grow up in that part of it, and so, but it's still different.
Sure.
It was you worked my first job was a paper route, and I started, and let me tell you, getting up on Sunday morning sucked because you had to you had to put the papers together yourself, and you prayed to God Dad would get up and take you, and you could sit in the trunk and toss them. Otherwise, you're riding your bike. And I rode my bike, had to come back, reload, go back out. I mean, it was and then I was cleaning houses, and then it was, it was always on to the next thing. And my parents always had second and third jobs and their own little, side businesses and hustles. And we were a part of it from the very beginning. So to your point, Jason, because there was so much of those times you're like, I don't want to do another wedding. I don't want to climb up in other people's attics and search through books and do all that. And then there was that time in Paterson, New Jersey, and we're at a giant estate sale. And I found a big folded up thing of gold coins.
Wow.
Inside something I bought. So there was like all those things. Then because then you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, did I get to keep those? No, those went to the parents so that that could help pay off some debt. And I had hit something, I think, with my mom's car and cracked the grill. So she's like, yeah, no, those are mine. And I'm like, okay, I did my duty. So I mean, there's always these things, and doing chores and doing all that stuff. I mean, I tried to pass all that on to my kids. My kids have always had chores. They hated it. And it was like, I'm not good at sweeping. I'm like, that's not okay, great. You're going to load the dishes then, and we'll just trade this
maybe
stuff.
you need to
We'll
practice
trade
more.
this stuff around. And the minute that I felt that they were capable and old enough, they did their own laundry, and they still do their own laundry.
Yep.
And I've sat there and watched my 13-year-old not put his new sheets back on for a month now. And he goes, they're laying there. He just hasn't made the bed, right? And he's like, it's not been a month. I was like, yeah, it has been a month. And then I just look at it and I go, I could do this for him. And guess what? I did not do. I freaking walked out of that room, and I'm like, you know what? If he wants to stink up his bed and he doesn't want to put his sheets on,
Teenage boys, the smell of their bedrooms
I'm
so bad.
I'm going to say this. He's really not bad. There are times when it's bad, but mostly that kid he's hardcore about deodorant and wearing cologne and grooming himself. So, but it's just it's the bed making, and you just have to slowly back yourself up out and go, no, I am not doing this for him. And if he doesn't like how this feels, or how the mattress cover smells after,
or how his greasy pillow is making his face
Or his-
break
yeah,
out.
Yes.
breaking out,
Because that's
yes.
what's going
why is
to
my face
happen.
breaking out so much? Like, I've given
Yeah.
you the tools, child. I have taught you how to do this, and it's your job to do it. And I was thinking about it again this morning. I was like, I could have climbed on that bed and made that bed for him. I'm not doing it. I am not going to do it. And so I agree with you. I think that is such a great way of saying we were privileged enough to be taught how to take care of ourselves. And more and more, I shared this. You guys probably saw it. I think I shared it to my Facebook or to my story. And it was this whole thing about our generation. Is she in our generation, or is she one behind us?
She's one behind.
I'm
You're
in
one
that
behind.
in between.
Yeah, but
I
you're
think,
you're
too.
okay.
I'm not a
Yours is still okay.
yeah.
But people will look and go, well, why don't they talk about their feelings? Well, because you didn't talk about your feelings with you really, like, I was watching this video and going, that's so freaking true. Nobody coddled me. Nobody went, how are you feeling today?
Can you imagine if your parents said that? It would scare you.
I told
Yeah.
you, I don't know if you remember having this conversation, because I know we've had it on air, but when my mom and dad were splitting, that's when my mom, she
Yeah,
flipped
you
and she
said that.
became needy, right?
Yeah.
And I was like this.
Mm-mm.
She was like, can you just hold me? And I was like,
I don't know how to do that.
and it was not that I didn't want to comfort her. It was just so unexpected, because it's that, and not that my mom wasn't a loving mother or any of that. Please don't get that out of your heads, but it was different.
They
Right.
showed their love. My parents showed their
best way they
love
knew
by making sure we had food and making sure that we had things like when we started having money, we went on like actual vacation, which was really cool.
Ours were always in the RV,
Yeah,
or
so
pulling a camper, or
we would always drive down to Rockport. We would go fishing in Rockport. That's what we did when we were kids. But as we got older, like I remember the first time I went skiing, and it was on Braniff Airlines, which was out of
I don't even.
Dallas Love.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the first time, and we got in from the back side of the airplane, and they were smoking on the airplane. was Really bizarre.
I got to do that once. It was 1989.
Yeah.
I think it was 89. 88 or 89. It was flying back from my big sister's wedding in Chicago. And Tamara and I ended up on the same flight. We were originally on different flights, and ours got canceled. It was bad weather coming back into New York. And it was one of those, like, I was just about to light the cigarette, and it was boom, boom, boom. Fasten your seatbelts. Nobody can smoke we're like, what? I'm like, I can't smoke a cigarette. Landed on a sheet of ice in upstate New York, emergency landing to be de-iced. And then we sat on the tarmac for 4 hours, and they wouldn't let you smoke. And then that was the only flight I ever got to go on where you could smoke a cigarette, and I never got to smoke one.
That's a shame.
And I was like, that's just ridiculous.
Time to quit smoking.
But then the crazy thing is that I look back and I go, I could not imagine doing that to anybody.
No.
How horrific
You're
to
in
be
a
stuck
tunnel.
in a freaking tube with
I would have
cigarette
died.
smoke.
I would have just died.
I mean, it's bad
I'm
enough
already
when
coughing thinking about it.
it's bad enough with smelly people. Over perfume, over cologne, okay, but smelly people, no. Morning, Alyssa. I mean, seriously, no. All right. Anyway, so I just think about even opportunities like that. That was truly like, I saved to make that flight.
Yeah.
I paid for that flight.
Mm.
So, because I think my parents, I can't remember if they all drove or not, but I paid to fly. I was like, nope, I want to be back for New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. And yeah, so anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to
can't
keep
wait to
talking
hear
about
more.
gratitude, because I got something to read to you, because it falls so perfectly in line with this conversation that you guys started this morning. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break here on JOCO Vibes.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I just
Mom.
wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
Oh,
I
my
would rather
God.
have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my
Love you.
girl. I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Dixie.
Bye. I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JOCO Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
JOCO Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Shit. Okay, I'm gonna.
Welcome back
Hey.
to the second half of
Hey,
JOCO
yo,
Vibes.
It's like the 70s over there.
It's just a word for poop.
It was just funny because nobody was like paying attention yet. JOCO Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JOCOCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by...
Well, no. Yeah. Hold those thoughts. Todd Hurd and Associates Attorneys at Law. So if you're looking to take care of your family and actually leave a legacy for them, it's important that you get your wills and trusts in order before someone dies, preferably. Otherwise, it becomes an absolute disaster. So with over 25 years of legal practice, they have the experience to help you and take care of all of that problem take care of it before it becomes a problem. So protect your legacy today and give them a call at 817-426-4529. That's 817-426-4529, located here in Burleson, Texas. And they are licensed in Texas, New Mexico, and if anybody from here needs someone in Minnesota, they're licensed there too. But, and you can make a statement with the versatility of women's accessories and also help stretch your wardrobe budget from season to season simply by going to the Tiffy.com. Tiffy sleeves were featured on the Today Show with Joe Martin a while back, and
as seen on TV.
Yeah, as seen on TV can say that. So check out the Tiffy.com, especially if you are looking to, buy a great cover up, like for your they have a forever scarf that turns into, you can wear it like 40
Is it
different
like
ways.
a pashmina?
It's better than pashmina, and it's made, and everything's made right here in the USA. And let's not forget about your favorite guy, the swiper. Swipenation.us.
The swiper.
If you want to get connected with an awesome
Merchant
credit card
services,
processing
yeah.
company that can lower your rates so that you don't have to pass them on to your customers, that's who you want to check out. So check out swipenation.us, locally owned and operated here in Johnson County. And so thank you again for joining us, guys, and welcome back to the second half of JOCO Vibes here on JOCO Community Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlen with Sarah Reeves and Jason Bagley.
Hey.
Um,
And we're thankful.
Okay, I
tonight.
got a question. Angela Little's asking, how come you don't have a guest on like Adam from Top Gun Professional
I
Training?
think that's supposed to be Top Dog.
Oh, I don't know. He has to reach out to us and talk to us if somebody wants to be featured.
Why don't you tell Adam to give us a shout?
Yeah, if somebody wants to feature their business, they need to reach out to us. We have ways of being able they can
We
pay.
got lots of shows.
to do that?
My dog was trained at Top Dog.
Bruiser was trained at Top Dog, and
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Yeah, we have lots of
Adam's good people.
lots of opportunities for advertisement and to reach.
IDFW is currently looking for a advertising.
You're looking for a partner. Yes, you are. So you can email us at jo.co, jo.co at jococommunityradio.com, and we can send you all of the information on how to partner with us. So we've been talking privilege this morning,
and
and
thankfulness. man.
the difference between what people consider privilege, which is so interesting you say that, because I went to high school. There's two towns that went to high school together, Wyckoff and Franklin Lakes, and I went to school really with a bunch of kids who I thought were privileged, as you said, right? Like mommy and daddy bought all their brand new cars, and I'm driving the 70s, shag carpeted van when I was allowed to. But, come to find out, that's the vehicle everybody loved,
Sure.
So, I mean, it's just a great way to look back and go, I do feel very privileged, but not the silver spoon kind of way.
Right.
But the
I
way
mean,
that we were taught to take care of ourselves at a very young age.
there were times that like I gave my parents my tooth fairy money just so we could have milk.
Yeah.
That didn't happen all that often. Just a couple times when I was really little, and they didn't want to, but I was like, I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I look at
But
my,
then when my sister graduated high school, we went to Hawaii. It's not like, we had to do a lot of due diligence. We spent hours and hours and days folding mailers for my dad's business, like assembly line, like
Mhm.
doing the
Mhm.
things.
Oh, God,
We
yeah, I
all
remember all
were
that
all
stuff.
in,
Yep.
I don't know how many times you got paper cuts from licking envelopes and with that glue,
that and my dad
and
was
stamps before they were stickers.
my dad was a deacon in the church. My parents were the youth group
yeah.
leaders, and so it was anything and everything that was going on. You were a part of it, and you didn't have a choice.
No, yeah,
there was no
and
choice.
You just did work. You
just
just did
did
the
it.
things.
You didn't. How dare you ask why?
Yeah.
Why
It was also really
why
great.
do I need to help?
Well,
It was
I think-
also really great because Elise, while my aunt's been here and they were doing all the garage stuff, and my mom not being able to lift stuff with her neck, like Elise had to do the work.
Yeah.
And they had a great time doing it. But it was like, usually she's not around whenever we have to do those things. And so it was really great that she had to do all this work and be a part of the community of the family. And with Crazy Aunt Doris, it's always a shit show.
I think there's a 15-year window of people that right now, you think about our I would say our generation, maybe the following generation, that was still raised under this concept of, you know what, hard work is going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
Well, now the most popular thing is being a victim.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh,
I'm a
God.
victim. I'm a victim of this.
So
I'm
now
a
you
victim
have
of
to give
that.
me
I'm a
this.
victim of this. So what does that breed?
Entitlement.
It breeds entitlement, but what does it do for our country? Because these are the people that 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road are going to be our major politicians. And they already are, by the way. We're
Right.
starting to see them show up where everybody's a freaking victim.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do anything. And I'm saying this as a generalization. Obviously, there are people, and I do believe that the generation that's coming up, that's in junior high and high school right now, the post Gen Z group, I truly think they've got something special to offer because they've seen what social media did to the previous generation. And they're not quite as engaged in social media like we all were when it came into power.
My 13-year-old is not, and he's there's some things that he'll watch, or like him and his big brother, who's 19, they'll giggle together and share some
Right.
videos sitting at the table. But I mean, basically, that kid's playing Clash of Clans, and with his dad. They're that's like a thing you play on your phone, and so there's that of it. But he's seen the older two, and he's just he's gone through times where he just shakes his head at them like, oh
Yeah,
God, what did
people
you
are
do?
oversharing their life, and it's like, why are you putting that on the internet? I saw one was this girl, she had tattooed her entire face. She looked like almost like a bird. It was blue, like she was wearing a mask on her nose, under her eyes, and she says, "Hey guys, so I guess you should know that I didn't get the job." And I'm like,
I don't know
Shocking.
why.
why? Why?
I
Shocking.
was like, Derek Sheeler posted the other day, which we've had this conversation before about filters on the radio. We
Yeah.
talked about it. Like we need an app that takes it away. Well, he even posted that today. I'm gonna get an app that takes the filter off. Ladies, get ready. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand. Quit. I don't know why people don't want to look like themselves. You don't look like yourself.
because that is
I know that's an internal.
it's a crisis. It's a crisis in our country in
But it
Started
in
with
general.
realtors.
That's funny. That's
But
funny.
it has taken over so many people's lives, and then they don't. I mean, I have a hard time getting a date, sure, but like at least
Yeah,
I
but
know all
you know
my
what, really
photos
quick,
are real.
I just want to say this really quick. Do you have a hard time getting a date, or is
Maybe I'm
God
selective.
saving you from some shit show? I mean, seriously, like
Sure, and
timing is
yeah.
everything. And do
Yeah.
you really
I
want
mean,
to go?
I don't need some guy up my butt or whatever. Like spend all this time or where I have to spend all this time focused on them. I got trucks to fit. So shut up.
The right
my
the
butt.
right
I know,
person
anyway, but
the right person will show up when it's time. I
I
mean,
got too much stuff to do, and I didn't want to realize that for so long, and then till now, like the last couple months, I'm like, I know now that, and I'm accepting that and walking in that role of, yeah, sure, I want to date somebody and I want to go see some, like that's great, but I don't have the time to care about what you're doing every minute of the day, and then you worried about what I'm doing. Like I got stuff to do. I got a big place to take care of. I got a business to try to figure out how to run. I got 2 trucks to fix that I've never fixed before. Like I either help me or just take me out every once in a while and leave me alone. Like I got stuff to do, and whenever I'm done, then let's have a good time, but I'm,
work hard, play hard.
You have to take a break.
All
Sure,
right, so
but
this all comes down to attitude. This is something I shared this morning from Trina Titus Lozano, who used to be one of our show hosts, and she's on to way bigger things right now. Since the passing of her mom and taking over her mom's legacy
girl, I
too.
feel that.
All right, so she posted this thing and I shared it this morning, and it's called Attitude. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I respond to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes, and that was written by Charles Swindoll.
I love that.
Right?
I need to also say, it's not that I don't want a man, because I definitely want a man.
You're seeking.
Yeah. And I mean,
seek out Sarah Arden. She's
I'm
available
here.
on
It's great. I'm low maintenance. I have a lot of shit to do, so I take care of my own stuff. You take care of your stuff. It's great.
If you are looking to take her out on a lovely date, we must first approve. So feel
There
free
is a
to
strong
email
vetting process.
email me at
Here's the good news.
joe.co@jococommunity.
So here's the good news about a Sarah. So let's say you're a guy that likes to go fishing. Sarah's your gal.
Yeah.
You're a guy that likes to go hunting. Sarah's your gal. You want to go and get a horse. Sarah's your gal.
You want to go to the petroleum club?
Yeah,
I'm your girl.
she's the gal. I'm telling you, guys, you're missing out on a perfect opportunity here. We've all talked about, I'm not attracted to men, but I'd much rather have that as the person that I spend my time with. Well, you have a female
Who does man shit?
that does man stuff.
And I still have fingernails.
Well,
I can still scratch your back.
You know this. Oh Lord.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean it that way, but then that's
Sure you
that's
did.
pretty
Okay.
good.
No, but I mean, those are things like there was a video I caught just a glimpse of it last night. I didn't watch the woman talk the whole time because just sometimes I can't hear people too long. I'm like, you take the nugget when you see it. And she was talking about how, all day long she's the boss, right? Like, I'm running my business, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm a strong female and all this. She goes, but when I get home,
I want to be safe
I don't-
and home, and
I
don't
right,
wanna
I don't want to
decide.
be that. I mean,
I don't want to decide. I just want to, I don't know. You be the DJ. I don't care anymore.
I mean,
I had the conversation with my middle boy the other day. He's up in Virginia at Norfolk. He's serving in the Navy, and he was talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, this girl screwed me over." And I said, "Listen, son, you're going to have to learn something." I think this is guys across the board that have to learn this sometime in their life. Stop trying to get with a girl and go find a woman, because until you give up trying to get with a girl, you ain't ever going to have a good woman in your life. You know? And so it's as much a responsibility of a man to grow up and learn that, you know what, a woman isn't going to put up with your lies. A guy, a woman's not going to want you to just do whatever you want to, whenever you want to. You're going to have to give up some of your freedoms to get the good. It's kind of like with God. God always asks us to give something up to get his best. And I think it's the same way. And I told him this. I said, God's not going to bring you the wife that he wants you to have until you're ready to give up the girls that you want.
That's deep.
I just had a conversation with my daughter last night because she started a new relationship and it kind of went fast and so I guess he kind of pulled the brakes a little bit, but he was like, but I want us to be friends. I don't like, he goes, I just feel like we went too fast is pretty much what it was. And I told her, I said, nothing changes in relationships until you really, really lay that on the table and you give that to God. Like, you have to give it to God and say, okay, is this relationship meant to be, Lord? Like,
Right.
I mean, and really give it to him. I did that with Todd 24 years ago. And because he was living in Lubbock and he was studying for the Texas bar and the New Mexico bar, and we didn't see each other for months. And I was anxious about it and I missed him and all this, stuff. But I understood what he was doing. And I gave it to God. It was like the first time I literally gave something to him and felt the release. Like,
Yeah.
like I was like,
I mean,
oh, I'm free. I am free.
sure.
Of this burden in this decision. And I'm telling this to my daughter again last night. I said, I went on to date somebody else. I dated somebody else for months. And guess what? God answered me when he was ready to answer me. And, here we are 20, what year is it? It's 24 years later. So it's just about letting go, let go and let
Right.
God. You hear that so much, but it really is the truth. It's the same with your business. It's the same with, I had multiple challenges this week that hit me hard and became obstacles in my way. I wanted to cry. I wanted to punch things and, kick a door and break my computer. But I didn't. I prayed. I had patience. I was like, I'm going to give it one more try with this blow dryer and the freezer, and
God showed up.
And I said, okay, because it's like I cannot let the devil get in the way of what I'm supposed to be doing this week. And you forge on, and I feel so much better. And then I read that share this morning for attitude, because it comes down to that. Every day, you can get up every day, like people say, oh, it's Monday, the work week begins. And I'm going to tell you what, if you feel that freaking miserable about your life, change something.
Yeah.
And usually, and from reading that, it's typically your attitude.
Sure.
Be grateful you got up every day. be grateful that you have a job.
Right.
It's like listening to politics right now and listening to someone talk about how horrible our country is. And I'm sorry.
Well,
We
or
do not have I do not live in a horrible country. I don't live in a horrible country.
half
I
of
say
our problems were solved because we were born in America. That's one of the
that's
things,
the
like,
truth.
we were born here. And so half of our problems as humans were solved.
And half of our problems were started
Well,
because
sure,
of those
but
same
different.
problems.
I mean, it
Which
becomes
goes
our
back to the
it
victim
becomes
thing.
The victim
our
thing.
battle
Yep.
to carry, right? It's
Yep.
our cross to carry. It's something that we're supposed to continue on pushing and
Right.
striving for. But that's, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's a lot. It's a lot to
It's a lot.
unpack.
Because I could say so much more stuff right now.
I know there's so much to unpack, and again, don't listen to the blowhard politicians. Go research what they are trying to stand for or fighting for or believe in, and not listen to the clutter. The clutter. I think he's got an emergency. All right, how about the focus word of the week?
Okay.
All right. If you don't know about this book yet, if you don't tune into us weekly, Clear Cherry Reeves, it's how one word a week will transform your life. And this week's word is, we didn't get to do this Tuesday because he and I we got into too much.
Right. And then we didn't get to do it yesterday because we had two guests.
Yeah, guys, yeah. So intentionality is this week's word.
Oh my gosh, that is so good for right now.
It was really good for yesterday, even when we were talking about the stuff with Adam, the fat loss coach, because I was like, that's why I took it out, because I was like, oh my God, the word just goes so along with what he was talking about, but there was just too much to do, right? All right, so intentionality is this week's word. Look carefully than how you walk. Let me read that properly. Look carefully than how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. This doesn't go along with attitude and everything else. I don't know what.
Yeah.
And
sure.
If you want to read this yourself and open up a Bible, even if it's for the first time, it's from the book of Ephesians, and it's 5:15 through 17. So, and you really want to go read it, because there's so much more, right? Like, that's just taking a nugget from it, and you want to read it so you understand it. And if you don't understand, if you read it, reach out to someone who can, help you learn about it. So the focus tip along with this is, what are 2 things you have been intending to do for months? Can you do them this week?
Ooh, that's good. Because usually, like
Mic
like
drop.
when you're praying and like, man, I don't even think God's hearing me at all, whatever. And it's like, I always get that. Remember that thing He told you to do, and
Yeah.
you didn't do it.
Well, like,
how about you go back to that and do that real quick, because He's not going to keep going until you do what He asked you to do the last time.
Well, like your mom was doing pre-surgery nesting.
Yeah.
Is what that is. Like,
Yeah.
and it's okay. So like when I had my hysterectomy last year, I went through a bunch of that. Like, okay, does everybody have my passwords? Like, can you get into all my stuff?
Yeah.
It's this idea of, okay, what if I don't wake up after anesthesia?
Right.
I guarantee you that's going through her mind. She's not talking about it out loud, but it is. And you think about those things probably even more as you get older, because
I'm trying not to think about it.
I know, not you,
I know.
her. This is
what
what she's experiencing. And so I experienced it before my surgery too. And I'm like, okay, what happens if I don't wake up? Do they know where that's at? Can you find, what are they going to do with my underwear? What are they going to do with all my stuff? I want to make sure my daughter, gets my jewelry, and, things like this are in or it's so stupid, but you're constantly prepping yourself for it, just like you do before you have a baby. You're like, okay, I got to get all this stuff. I got to move this and all the furniture in this house around the way I want it before this baby pops out of me, because I'm not going to be able to do it after.
Stephen Covey talked a lot about, when we talk about intentionality and what you're talking about, he uses the statement, start with the end in mind.
Yes.
And then you work your way backwards. And so that in those moments of clarity where we realize, wow, this could be the end, that's what he's kind of talking about. It's like, we understand it from a death point of view, but we don't do it in our own goal setting.
Well, that's like,
isn't that weird?
Where I'm kind of, I've really been, I know that I can't give up, because I know the vision. I see the vision of where I'm going, where we're going as a company, as a technology, what we have. And I see the vision, and I know that it's going to be great. And so I can't quit, you know?
No.
I
No.
can't quit.
You got to put it up on a board, and this is something that I've used with business coaching clients that I've worked with, because it's what I learned from the business coach that I worked with, and it's literally taking, okay, if you want to make, I'm throwing numbers out, and hey, sometimes you got to go big, right? Like I want to make
Shoot for the stars, maybe you'll land on the moon.
well, it's but you have to build that final goal, and you have
Yeah.
to see it up there, because you have to know. Let's say I want to make $300,000 a year this year, right? Like that's my goal. Now you start with that number, and you have to break down, and
What it takes to
especially
get there.
especially with like my Tiffy company, because I have a product that I sell, right? I had to break down from there. Okay, this is how much product I have. This is what it sells for. This is the profit, and you're breaking it down now backwards to go. Okay, you're getting down to how many do I need to sell per week
In order to
in order
money.
to reach
Mhm.
that goal?
Well,
And then you build from that bottom number. Okay, I got to sell 1,500 pairs of Tiffy sleeves a month in order to reach that 300. And now you have a plan, because you're like, okay, because now it goes to how, right? How do I sell 1,500 pairs
Right.
of sleeves
sure.
a month in order to reach that goal? And it helps you lay the whole thing out, right? So it's no different than real estate, except
Or-
that you don't have a widget.
Yeah.
Or it's
You
like,
know-
I want a partner. I want a husband one day. I want someone that's going to do this stuff with me, but I have to, that's the goal, but I'm not there yet because I got all this other stuff to do, but I see the goal, and I know that, I have to get my stuff in order. I have to get
Yeah.
myself in order
Well, you were
to be
talking about-
something to present to and be ready to receive.
Which is
Yes.
funny, because this boy that Mackenzie is kind of seeing, she'd probably kill me if she knew I was talking about this, but just in that goal set, the one thing he said to her, he goes, I don't feel worthy of you right now. That's what he said to her. And he goes, I don't feel worthy of you. And so I had to break that down for her, because they're still young. And I said, that's a compliment, Mackenzie. I know you don't understand that right now, but he's looking at himself, not necessarily down, but he wants to finish school. He wants to be someone who can
Pay the
Be the
bills
person
and
that-
be the person who you can rely on, in a time of need, in so many different ways. And so it's so easy to like get bogged down in the brain when someone says something like that. I'm gonna stop there because you had something to say.
Yeah, I want to encourage you, Sarah, from your standpoint, as you go through your business structure, having done this several times. And there was a great book. If you haven't read, if you're listening and you haven't read this book, I think it's a great book to keep you on track on what you believe that you're supposed to be doing. It's called Acres of Diamonds. Have you ever read it?
I have not read that book.
Okay, so Acres of Diamonds, it's a very, very short book. Synopsis: man has a piece of property. He decides he wants to be in the diamond business. So he sells his piece of property, goes looking throughout the world, spends his entire life looking for this
property,
the diamonds. But the person he sold it to mined the property he sold and found acres upon acres of diamonds there.
He already
and
had it.
The point is that it may look like there are other paths to get you where you want to go, but I want to encourage you, where you are, wherever you're listening at today, that you are good enough and smart enough, and God's got a plan right where you're at to send you where you need to go.
Amen. And I'm thankful on this Thankful Thursday for you guys, and being able to have these collaborative type of conversations that we have, because it helps us all move forward. Have an amazing day.
Happy birthday, Derek Reeves, my brother.
yeah,
He's
happy
57.
birthday,
Hey!
You can be well, never mind. Anyway, have an amazing day, guys. God
next
bless
week.
and be kind. Hey, check out the lineup for rest of today.
Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like